Our PHP code now connects to an external system, a MySQL database. Whenever your code relies on an external system, there's always the chance that something could go wrong. What if the database is down? How should your code respond? These are known as exceptions, and any code connecting to an external system needs to handle them. Open up the working file database.php in your text editor. Here we're creating a new PDO object that connects to our database. Any code that connects to an external system should be placed inside a block of code that can handle exceptions. In PHP, that's a try-catch block. Before the code you want to try to execute, you put a try command. You surround the code you want to try in a set of curly brackets, like this. PHP will try to execute all the code inside those curly brackets. You then put a catch command after the try block. If an exception occurs, PHP will execute the code inside this catch block. After the catch, you type a set of parentheses with the following code inside of them. When the exception occurs, an exception will get passed to the catch block. This is actually an object instantiating PHP's native exception class. The way the exception gets passed to the catch block is somewhat similar to how an argument gets passed to a function, and this syntax with parentheses looks a little bit like that. Inside the catch block, the variable e will contain details about the exception. After this, you put another set of curly brackets. If there is an exception, the code inside these curly brackets will get executed. If our code above, inside the try block, cannot connect to the database, we can display a message like this. After this, let's just stop any more code from executing with the exit command. Just to recap, this block of code tries to create an object from the PDO class connected to our database. If there's a problem, an exception is thrown, and the code inside our catch block is executed. This message here is displayed and our code ends. If everything connects just fine, the catch block will be skipped, and any code added after this block would execute just fine. Let's display a message here if the connection is successful. To show you the catch block in action, let me change something in the connection string. I'll change localhost to an invalid hostname, like brokenhost. Let's take a look at this page in the browser. Since the information needed to connect to the database is incorrect, an exception is thrown. The same thing would happen if the database server were offline. The code in the catch block echoes out this message and exits. Let's go back and fix the connection string. Now, in the browser, you can see that the code to display information about the PDO object is executed inside the try-catch block, as is the code to display the positive message after that block. Because there was not an exception thrown, the code inside the catch block is skipped. We have MySQL up and running, and we created a database filled with product information. We've written some code that connects to the database using an object of the PDO class, and we have exception handling in place that will catch any exceptions. We're off to a pretty good start. We're now ready to retrieve that product data from the database and display it on the website. We'll tackle that the next time we meet.